I'm interested in the tech and what it can do for people. And the tech has gotten mixed up in a lot of people's minds with people who have attempted to deliver the tech. And correctly or incorrectly, people have had a lot of wins with the tech and with Scientology, but particularly in recent years, people have had more setbacks than they have had wins. Now, sometimes this blows people away to the extent they just want to throw in the towel and not have anything to do with the tech or Scientology or anything else, and um, they've kind of blown way past any ability to get the benefit from the tech. But that's a real mistake because the tech works. The tech, when delivered with by people with some common sense and some ability, and it people get wins. I mean, even reading a book and sitting down with somebody and auditing them, most of the time they'll get wins with them, right? I mean, even if you hardly know much, you can still get wins with the tech. So, if I can help people to disentangle themselves from the conflicts that they've had with the church and various delivery elements of the church that have really, what's happened is that they've stirred up more charge than they've handled. If you just mostly stirred up charge and not handle much charge, you're going to not want anything to do with it anymore because it's a big A equals A with Scientology, or the tech equals all this charge that got restimulated, that's not really, it's not really the way to go. A lot of times though, people kind of leave and they kind of destimulate and they go, hey, maybe I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater, maybe, I have had gains and I've had wins, and, a lot of people really feel on a basic level that there is something to the tech, there is something to the bridge. I mean, that's why they got involved in the first place. So if they got involved in the first place on some kind of a reach for the tech, and then that got interpolated to a greater or lesser degree, then it's important to just kind of go back to the original point. If that course of action didn't work, it doesn't mean that the goal is wrong or that the tech is wrong. It just means that you ran into things that didn't give you what didn't work. So find an auditor, find somebody who can make it work for you. That's what I would encourage people to do. It isn't really I like to see people getting auditing. I like to see other auditors who know the tech just kind of get started again. Just start auditing some people. And that's really, people who like to do training, just get some people together and start doing meter drills with them, do training with them, wherever you are, you can do something, just even reading the books, listening to tapes, just connecting up in that way. That's where you'll make spiritual progress.
Do you do the CS, the case supervising for people?
I'm not really trained as a case supervisor. I've always had outside case supervision. I've learned enough over the years to, that I can know what to do. But there are a lot of good case supervisors out there that have had years of experience and very good training in the church. And, I would encourage people who want to start auditing others to just, I know there's a lot of people like myself who are happy to sort of be a mentor and give advice, even if you're not really a formal CS. You can just give some input and have a terminal. That's always very helpful. But there are people who do it professionally. They do a very good job of it. So I would say, seek them out and get a CS.
Okay. Any other suggestion for somebody who is about to start? Say somebody wants to audit but just doesn't know where to begin with.
You mean they've never had any training?
No, they had training. They're out of church. They're out of group. They're just alone in the field, and they just don't know where to start from.
Well, any plan is based on an observation of potentials and a bright idea about how to use them. So usually there's something sitting right there. How to start. usually there's somebody right there that something that they could do. You know, there just usually is. If you're, first of all, you get the idea that there is something there, and then you get the idea of, like looking around and, is there somebody I can audit? Like I always says, quantity, quality, viability. So you just find somebody and you do what you can do, even if it's just assists or whatever, or locationals, or that kind of thing. Self-analysis, that's a very simple thing to do on a basic level, and you just set it up and do it. One thing leads to another, and pretty soon you have other people, and that's how it goes. You just find an entrance point, and there's a little ball of string. You just find a little piece of string that's sticking out and start pulling on that, and then eventually the whole thing unravels. LRH says that if you can't find a ruin, you can always find a goal. So I think, when you're saying it doesn't have a goal, you're looking at the wrong side of a goal, because you're saying what you really mean is they don't have a ruin, because everybody has goals. If they don't have anything wrong that they want to fix, they certainly have things that they want to improve, or areas of their life that they want to expand into. And then, because you can always, again, if you just sit down and fly 6 rudiments on somebody, you're going to get other items to handle. You're going to find out where their attention is. You're going to find out subjects you can prep check or fly rudiments on. You can just pull some processes out of the book, the assist book, and just run alternate repetitive processes on them. They'll think it's fun. Maybe their goal is just to have fun, I've been starting with new people for 43 years. I mean, as a field auditor, a lot of times auditors who have audited in the org for a long time, they never really audit any new people unless they audited in a mission or lower level org. But, if they were an ASHO or AO or FLAG or whatever, they never audited any new people. So I've had a lot of experience on what to, how to kind of start a new person. Person either usually has something they want to, some earlier experience that they feel is holding them back, in which case you could do Dianetics on them, book 1, or they have some kind of a goal that they want to achieve, or they don't know what they want to do in life. That's the other thing that typically comes up. And then you could sit down and work out an admin scale with them. If you want to just do admin stuff, you can do conditions, you can do admin scales, you can do false data stripping, all of that stuff. You can always find out, there's always going to be charged terminals and losses and things like that people have had, even if they don't say so right away. You just make note of them and then take them up at the appropriate time. Yeah, well, all you really have to do is just, if you get in calm with somebody, you start to do some things, other things will come up. It's just because the case isn't always sitting there the first time you meet somebody. A lot of people say, yeah, I'm doing fine, everything's fine, no problems. It just isn't there. And plus they never had a terminal, so why should their case be sitting there? They've never had anybody that was even interested in it.
Do you have any set of questions?
I just usually get a person on the meter and I just well, the first and most obvious string to pull is why they're there. I mean, obviously they showed up. They were motivated in some direction for some reason. What do you have your attention on? How are things going? What did you think that you might want to address? One of the most beneficial things that you can do on a brand new person is just you can be right. If you find out, and a lot of times what a person really has attention on is how they're tripping themselves up in life, how they're undermining themselves. Find out something that the person is doing that's self-defeating or undermining, self-inval, throwing in the towel, giving up, all those things that people do, just coming from them. And just have them read over "You Can Be Right," and then just do that drill. The guy says, "Oh, I invalidate myself all the time." You go, "All right, well," so just kind of get the viewpoint that that's a really fine idea, and tell me why it's a good idea to invalidate yourself. And believe me, they have answers. Oh, well, because if I do it to myself, nobody else will do it to me. It's a brilliant solution. You know, so that kind of thing. You know, just because somebody identifies something as a problem doesn't really mean that you address it with a problem rudiment. Because it could be a PTS situation. It could be a confusion condition. So any set of circumstances with no immediate solution is a confusion condition. So you could do a confusion condition. You could just do locationals. You could just do two-way comm on all of the elements of the problem, individual elements. You could find out all of the different problems that are involved in this problem, because there's more than one. There's many problems that all have worked together into confusion. See, there are half a dozen different ways of approaching that. But you have to unburden it. You know, that's the trick. You know, something doesn't go, you know, you have to unburden it. You have to just find something, you know, just get the calm about it, see what's reading, find other areas, what's associated with it, that kind of thing.
Okay. Do you audit a lot?
Oh yeah, I've been auditing. I've been averaging, I think recently I did like 5 straight weeks of like 40 hours a week. So it's like, I did over 200 hours in 5 weeks, and then, but normally I'm auditing 35 hours a week. Last week I did 35 hours or so. Yeah, I did 35 hours, and 36, 38, 32. And if I've got somebody from out of town, I'll be up over 40. You know, I've been doing that for a long time.
Working full time, so it's possible. Huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, 7 days a week, really. I, you know, just take Saturday evening off, you know, do something different. But, you know, I start at noon and audit till about 11 o'clock at night every day.
Okay. You have all these records. Are you playing them? Are those records?
Well, I started collecting records when I was 6, or actually, no, I'm sorry, when I was 11 years old, I started collecting records, and I was a professional musician for about 6 years. And yeah, I love to listen to music, and so I've just got this big record collection that I really enjoy. I've got it, of course I've got a turntable, but I honestly don't play records as much as I play CDs. But the nice thing about having records is if you feel like listening to something or somebody, or you know where it is, you pull it out and put it on and listen to it.
Okay. It's like a time truck.
Yeah, 1956, 57, I started buying records.
Do you have anything else to say you'd like to tell people out there?
No, I'm really glad to have been able to do this today, and look forward to doing it again.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.